record. So I did. Oh, yeah, thank you. So we welcome very warmly Vladimir Trajkovik, who is sitting in Skopje with his students door by door. I don't think so, but you are in the same city at least. I hope you have a good weather and such a nice situation like we have here. So we are really blessed to be hosted by Martin and his crew. It's almost Martin today. Yeah, so good setting and nice to have you all online here, helping us understanding what research is about and to get in progress. And I think we have a nice ramp here that Vladimir is building for us to get our projects on the road. And AI is helping us so much these days that he wants to let us participate in his in his work and competencies that he built up a lot. So we will learn from you now, Vladimir. Let us participate.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. And from what I've heard, you had a very successful workshop there. Sorry, I was not involved in giving comments back on the presentations, but I think that at least in this room, you and Susanna did a great job anyway. So, well, my topic for today is how to use AI tools in research. We already heard some comments during the presentations that some of them were a bit positive, some of them were negative. Well, let's try to deep dive into it. But before we start, let's check the. Oops, let's try to go to Menti if I manage to somehow organize my screen and answer some questions there. So do you see my Menti? Because I need this in order to know how many details should I provide in the next slides because I didn't have a chance to meet you in person and discuss with you about this specific topic. So I hope you are all seeing the QR code. Is that okay, Michael?
Sure, we see it and we jump just in here. So everything is working fine, I hope.
Yeah, so I will then just go to the Menti and try to see, okay, what AI tools have you used for your research before? So we see quite a few tools, and I will speak about some of those tools, yes. But yeah, so far we have like two clear winners, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and then yeah, also we have this other, let's say, usual suspects when you talk about that. But what is really more interested is let's go to the next question then. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, great, cool. But if I manage to go to this 19, I would also like to know what is just a second. What is the scientific purpose that you have you used these tools for? For what scientific purpose? Well, research is really general, yeah. Bachelor thesis, okay, research. Can you be more specific, please? Paper research, structuring, so I guess thesis writing, literature review, master thesis, once again, writing, literature search, okay, cool. Inspiration, that is a good one. General information finding, okay. Research writing, organization, citing, citations, cool. Summarizing, overview, literature review. Once again, yeah, these are all typical first overlook, some of you mentioned, summarization, finding resources, getting an overview of an area in the field of research, I assume, idea finding, proofreading, summarizing the text. Okay, cool. So let's formalizing attractive sentences, proofreading, These are all typical researches. Okay. So I guess I have enough information now. Feel free to continue working on and answering this. So what we will talk about today is we will first in this we will start by stating what we will not talk about today. So we will not talk about how many resources are used to train these different tools and models, and we will not talk about the energy that is spent in order to train those. So, okay, this we will not talk about. And also, we will not talk about let's say, more engineering approach of building retrieval augmented generation or local LLMs that are trained with specific data and specific documents in order to get answers mainly and mostly from those documents. So we will, let's say, speak a bit more about a bit more common use of the AI tools in research. So what we will really talk about, we will talk about basic steps of research, and then I will try to provide you with some example tools. Bear in mind that there are many tools, and so many of them are coming out every day. And whatever we talk here today will probably change in the next months or so. I've tried to find tools that you can use freely, or that at least have some free credits, so at least you can try them for free. And we will talk a little bit about open science and how this relates to this topic of ours, okay? So we will also mention something, a little bit about the privacy and the GDPR. We will also speak about AI agent mode or agentic usage of AI, and we will also mention the ethical use of AI in research. Well, some of those things, at least the last one, was mentioned as a part of your research topics as well. So I guess will be good. So here you have this typical research process put in the flow chart. So basically, you start with this activity that you already gone through. You have to define the research problem, and then you have to review the literature, and then you have to formulate hypotheses, and they have to be specific, and then you have to choose or design the research and collect data and analyze them and then report. Well, in these flowcharts, sometimes you have to go forward and backward. So this F means that maybe you can think about a little bit about the next step. And this FF, and this F means that maybe at this phase you can go backwards and go back to some of the previous steps and then try to refine the results, or refine the hypothesis, or even refine the research questions based on your current findings. So basically, I will try to specify some tools that can help you in each of those phases. So define research problem. And you've already mentioned all of those tools, more or less. And some of you mentioned the Notebook LM. And why I like Notebook LM? Well, I will give you the example. For it is free, or for you can use a lot of free credits. And what I like to do, I like to upload. For example, I upload the book of abstracts from the conference, so you can upload the whole books, and then you can ask, okay, can you define some specific research topics, and the the notebook LM will give you a fill, and it will give you a focus area, and it will use all the references from that, well, in my case, book of abstracts, but in your case, from any proceedings or anything that you can upload. Be aware that it has to have a specific license, so it has to be open, and otherwise you will not be able to use it, but we will go back when we talk about open science there. And it will even give you specific research questions, and it can even suggest you some kind of research methodology. And this is good. I mean, good point for starting your research. I mean, it's like you have this professor sitting just next to you and helping you with, defining and talking to you and supporting you in finding the good research topic based on the summarization of the tools. And of course, you can use all of the other tools that were mentioned before. So for the literature review, I've noticed that some of you already have used this elicit system. I always try to give more than one. So this size space is also a very good one, but it has a limited tokens or limited usage in a free version. But nevertheless, you can also try it. So how does it work? Well, you can also ask him the question, and it will provide you with the abstract together with the references, and then it will explain the method it used to retrieve the papers. And now I will try to go to this is ChatGPT. No, this is elicit. Yep. So I will just give you the hint how it looks. So it gives you all the references that it was used for, and then you can actually select some of the features that the tool will retrieve from your papers, and it will list you quite a lot of papers. Actually, in this case, 50 papers from different available resources, and then it will give you some kind of summarization, and then you can refine this and go back to it and ask additional questions. So in a case, yeah, maybe it will not follow some specific methodology to the point, although in the paid version it can work according to the Prisma methodology. But for this initial type of research, it is quite good to identify the starting papers. And then, of course, when using this tool, you can specify it. For example, I often use this trick and ask you, please use only resources that come from, I don't know, journals indexed in the Web of Science or in PubMed if I'm interested in some medical research. So you can even in the prompt you can even be a bit more specific and do some kind of pre-selection of the resources. And then once it identifies well these papers for you, then you can read them in a bit more details and go with these snowballing techniques, use the references that are already mentioned there in order to deep dive into the further research and elaborate even more further. So I think this is a very useful tool for literature review, and I'm very glad that I've noticed that some of you are already using it. So, and then hypotheses. Well, actually, you can use any of the tools you've mentioned for this formulation of hypotheses, but you have to be aware of something. So first, you have to do the proper prompt engineering. So you have to put the context, be specific what you want from your from the tool that you use to generate. You do need to iterate for that, and while you are formulating that question, be aware that you have to compare your results, your end results, and you have to be aware that you have some kind of limited resources. So in my case, I would start with a question: can you suggest a methodology that I can use to analyze current trends for AI in education? Please be aware that I have limited resources and time, and that I should be able to compare my results in discussion section. Please provide some specific methods. And I would also even mention, especially if I'm using the tools that elaborate the sources that they use, I would say please point out some specific research that I can then use for comparison of my results. So, and then it will provide you with some suggestions. They will not be perfect, but I think that they will be a very good starting point. So better than nothing for sure. And well, then in the next phase, you have to collect data. So this is where open science can jump in. So here I have give you the examples of three widely used data sets or websites that have more than one open data sets. So these are open data that you can use for your research. And go there and then just search through them, and maybe even they will even get you inspired and inspire you for the research methods or even research topic as well. So I think that so these are the collections of different data that are publicly available for you to research. So this is a cool thing. So in case you're wondering what is open science, so open science is a movement that tries to make all the scientific research publications, software data used, and the way it disseminates open to the and accessible to all levels of society. So we are talking about open data, like we've mentioned, but also open access to the papers, which is very important if we want to use these papers or these collections of papers, for example, in a notebook LM, and try to say, okay, based on these papers, what I can use, because then they're open to the general public, even to the tools. But also the open science promotes open usage of software. It promotes the usage of open scientific networks. And so these are networks like ResearchGate or academia. And they're quite useful because sometimes, even if the papers are after some payment wall, you can find the authors there and ask them directly whether they will be willing to share their research with you. And most oftenly, they will do that with no problem. Well, in my personal experience, I think that I receive that kind of requests on daily basis, and most of my papers are open anyway, but yeah, I still do request them, and it is a pleasure to share them with the students from different parts of the world. But also open science is really about interactive papers, so something like Jupyter notebooks. I don't know whether you have heard about that. So instead of looking at the papers as PDF documents, just imagine that you can go there, and then if you have to see some kind of illustration or image, you can click on it, analyze it, it becomes interactive, and then you can see the code that make that illustration interactive. And well, that is really providing you more information than it is, and then open educational resources and so far. So I think that open science is also very important. And yeah, European Union, European Commission is promoting open science. So if you opt for academic career and do the academic research, all your papers will have to be with open access, and you'll have to provide open access to the data, or at least to the specification of the data anyway. So yeah, it's good to know that there's such an initiative exists. So the next phase is, well, analyze data and create reports. So I know that you all know how to use these AI tools for well, proofreading the text and creating cool sentences and all the other things that were mentioned. But so that's why I want to focus on this Julius tool. So this Julius AI is a tool that can be used to analyze data sets. So in my particular example, I went to the UN site and uh, download the open data sets about educational data from different countries. It was the data set that was quite large, 65 megabytes, sometimes they're even larger. And then I just upload it to the tool and ask for Julius to create a different type of visualization. So I would also like to go there and try to show it to you. I think it is here. So this is quite cool. Why? So you upload the file and then you ask him something very general. So I try to put myself in your shoes. So no, not very good prompt. Can you take a quick look at the data set and visualize some key insights? So I don't even know what is in the data sets, right? And then it starts working and it creates Python code. So then you can use this Python code if you have a colleague that understands that to further to further visualize or to make specific visualizations, and then it goes and creates some information, basic information, and then so it explains what is given on that information, and then it goes in. It says, well, it has some issues. So then I say, well, how will you handle this missing years? So because it identified that some information is missing. So it proposes you something and you can refine it, you can check it, whether it is good or no. And then you can ask him, okay, do this pipeline, correct the code. And then it creates another code and it can create another illustrations. And you have 10 messages per day. And with those 10 messages, if you know your data set and if you know what kind of analysis you want to be performed with the data set, it is more than enough, especially for your purposes. And be aware that within the data set, it always gives you all the code it has used. So you can simply copy and paste this code in some coding environment and then even do the fine further refinement of the code. So I guess I wanted to stick a little bit more on this tool because it was not mentioned. And well, when you're working with the paper, with the data, even if you're doing just a simple literature review, you will also collect some data, how many papers, from which countries authors come. So you can also quantify them, and then you can use this to create different type of information based on that paper. And then some of them will be useful. You will see some interesting trends. Some of them will not be that useful, but you can play around and create some cool heat maps or cool illustrations and yeah, and then you might get inspired to do the further analysis and so on. So yeah, I think that is a good tool. And well, if you search for different tools about the visualization, yeah, you will get quite a few of them as well. But the trick with those, with most of them, is so that they are all behind the paywall. So this was like one of the well, I think the only one that I've searched that had these free credits, so you can use it and play with your data. But yeah, what is important for it? It creates a Python code. So I think that we've mentioned quite a few tools. So let's go to the other topic. So you have to know that whenever you're using those tools, everything you ask is practically a public knowledge. So all your prompts are then used as a data to further improve the quality of the tool you're using, but that means that practically everyone will have access through that tool, through all the data you have used in the process. Once again, that is why open science is very important, and be aware to share the data, to share the publications, to share information that is really open, so you don't have any legal issues, if nothing else. Also, if you decide to share your chat history, for example, with some friends, and most of the tools have that possibilities, they are even becoming Google indexable. So even then, if someone search on Google, it will find all your prompts and all your discussions available. So maybe for the purpose of your work, that is not a big deal. But just imagine if you're working on a project that has a big financing and access to the private data, and then out of the sudden you want to share some of the insights with your colleagues, and then it becomes publicly available. So yeah, be aware when you're using those tools. And I guess some of the professors are not very happy with the usage of those tools because yeah, practically yeah, they are making even their methods available to the general public. Also, AI agent mode. Well, if you're using AI agentic mode, well, then not only your queries and your prompts and the data you input in the prompts is available or public, uh, but especially today in the current state of development of those tools, most probably all the environment you're using or the access to the tools that you will provide will also be available. For example, if you say, well, create this and then send me an email or use my last request from the email, all your emails will be publicly available because the tool will be able to search through all of your email, all your browsing history, all your cookies, all your credentials that are existing in the cookies because you said you allow the agent to use them in order to best fit your requests. So I want to sound a bit scary. This is not totally true because as in some of the tools you have this sandbox usage, or you can create agents within the browser. For example, in this visualization tool, I could also create an agent, but the agent will be used within the browser memory, so it will probably only access my browsing history and my cookies, but not the things that are on my computer. But if you are open the mail in the second tab and you share some information between tabs in your browser, yeah, it is potentially still accessible to the tool. So, which makes us discuss the ethics. What is really important for the usage of AI that you have to check. Whatever the tool is generate, you have to check and you have to validate it. And yeah, in that sense, uh, the AI tools will make your research work really efficient. Some of the research that took me, I don't know, weeks, if not months before, now I can do over the weekend or over the week. But then it is still, you still need a time to check and validate whether this is really true. Also, when you're using the research, you have to be very transparent of the tools that you have used and how you have used those tools. And probably all of your institutions, all of the faculties that you have enrolled already have some kind of policies that declare how you can use and what you have to state when you're using some kind of tools. There are some national policies, EU or international legislations, and also, if you want to publish the paper, and well, most of the publishing houses will have the tools. Most practically, what they say is, well, you have to state the tool, you have to state how you have used it and for what purposes you have used it as well. Different legislations will require a different level of details, but you'll have to follow those. And if you want to read more on that, there's this good guidelines from European Commission. I have chosen that one because, well, most of the research you do or you will do in your academic careers will be within the scope of the research, or will be some kind of research that is partially or potentially financed by European Commission. So in that sense, I think that is why it is important. So I think I've managed to be in half-hour time slot, but I will be glad to stay more and chat with you if you have any questions.